Hey ladies, and welcome back to the Single Mother's Life. My name is Latasha. I'm a certified life and empowerment coach for single mothers, a fellow single mother. And in this video, we are going to talk about 3 ways to get through the tough times. Stay tuned. If you are new here, welcome. And if you have been rocking with me for a while and have hit that subscribe button, thank you so much. Y'all, 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of us. My sister is the RN and she was telling me how some people have to sit at the windows of their loved ones just to be able to see them at the hospital. Like, they sit outside the window to talk to their loved ones because, of course, during the coronavirus, people can't really go into the hospitals. They can't really visit their loved ones like they want to. So it's sad that they have to talk to their loved ones through a window. And some people have sick loved ones who's in the hospital and they're not even able to see them. It's really been a tough year for all of us as single mothers. You know, I know a lot of us really have it hard. A lot of us have lost our jobs. A lot of us have lost, child care. A lot of us, our finances has decreased and we only have one income for the most part. A lot of us, we can't go to work due to it being a pandemic, which means, we can't make money to take care of our households, and it's hard and it's stressful and it's tough. I know for me, throughout this year, I quit my job back in June to, just a faith move to go into business on my own. And at first I was excited, but it's been tough, because business has not been, I would say, booming like I thought it would, or I think it should. It's been slow. But through it all, I still know that God has me in the palm of his hands. If he's for me, who can be against me? And throughout this year, he has sustained me. He has sustained me and my son. He has kept us, and we have everything we need. We lack nothing, although sometimes it seems like we lack something, but in reality, we lack nothing. So I want to share with you 3 ways to get through tough times in your life, whether you're going through a tough time. We all go through tough times, and they're not easy. So I'm going to share with you 3 ways that has helped me through the tough times in my life, and 3 ways that have helped many others to get through the tough times in their life. First way to get through that tough time that you may be going through in your life is to pray. Now, I know this may be cliche. Anytime someone talk about, going through a tough time, the first thing they say is pray. So you may say, well, I'm tired of praying. Prayer don't work for me. I tried the whole prayer thing and it's like God don't hear my prayers. I'm here to tell you that prayer really works. Prayer works, but you have to actually pray and know that it works. You have to trust God and believe that he hears your prayers and that he is going to answer your prayers. If it wasn't for prayer, I would have been crashed. Like, if it wasn't for being able to go to God and talk to him about what I'm going through, even though he already know, I would have been crashed. Like, it's no way that I would be making it on my own, like mentally, physically, spiritually. It's no way if it was not for God, if it was not through him strengthening me in prayer. But I have to pray. when we pray, it allows us to let it all out. It allows us to tell someone who can actually do something about our problems, and to just cast our cares onto him, and to cast our burdens onto him. Now, I don't know if you know it or not, but when you going through something, you have to let it out. You have to tell someone, whether you write it in a journal, whether you go to God in prayer, whether you tell a friend, whether you talk to a loved one, someone. You have to let it out. You can't go through tough times by yourself. So why not go to the one who can do something about that tough time in prayer, and let him know what's on your heart. Let him know, what you want out of this tough time. Ask him to show you, the wisdom to get through this tough time. Ask him to give you clarity to get through this time. Ask him to give you strength to get through this time, to give you peace. A lot of times we go to God and we ask him, like, God, take this tough time away, why am I going through this? Why are you allowing me to go through this? Do you really love me like you say you love me? Because I feel like if you love me the way you say you love me, then I wouldn't be going through this. But you have to think about it. Anybody God used in the Bible had to go through something. Think about Joseph. Joseph had this really big dream that his brothers were going to bow down to him. And when he told his brothers got jealous, and they threw him in a pit and sold him into slavery, his own brothers. And Joseph, it's like as soon as he got a break, something else was happening that did not seem like it was a part of that dream. But in the end, Joseph's brothers did end up bowing down to him, and he ended up, being over all of, the place that he was in. But to get to where he was at, he had to make some pit stops along the way. He had to go through some tough times, because when we go through tough times, sometimes God is testing our character. Sometimes we want to make it from point A through point Z without any bumps along the way, without any storms along the way, but it don't work like that. So I want to encourage you to pray through that storm. Whatever you may be going through, pray through it, girl, because God is right there and he's waiting on you to seek him in that situation. Not saying that he's going to, change the situation overnight, but he will change your heart, and he will give you peace towards that situation, and he will show you what to do in your situation and give you a perspective that you may not have thought about, but you have to go to him in prayer. So the second thing that you need to do when facing a tough time is you have to believe. You have to believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You have to believe that you won't be in the valley forever. You won't be in the pit forever. You have to believe that it is possible for God to take you out of the hole that you are in and to set your feet on a rock. You have to believe, even when you go to God in prayer, you have to believe that he hears your prayers and that he's answering your prayers. And in order for you to go to him in prayer, you have to believe that he cares about you and that he loves you. And you have to believe that he is who he say he is, and that his son, Jesus, is who he said he was, because that's the only way you're going to get to God is through Jesus. So you have to believe. You have to believe that your situation can be turned around. You have to believe that you can overcome and that you won't be in this situation forever, because I can't believe it for you. Your friend, they can pray for you, but they can't believe it for you. You have to believe it. You can't sit around like, oh, this is never going to change. I'm always going to be broke. I'm always going to be in this low income neighborhood that I don't want to be in. I'm always going to be a single mother. I'm always going to be late on my bills. I'm always going to be at this job. No, you have to believe that change is coming. And not only that, let's talk about those words. You have to watch what you speak. Because when you believe that better is coming, you are going to speak life and not death. So we must believe that, God is going to answer our prayers. We must believe that God has our best interest in mind. We must believe that God cares about us. We must believe that God loves us. And when we believe, then our belief is going to put our actions in act. Our belief is going to make us act a different way. Our belief is going to make us act with confidence. We're not going to shrink back because we're going through these tough times. We're not going to waver because we're going through these tough times, because we believe that God worked all things out for our good. We believe, like Mark 11:24 says, that whatever I ask for in prayer, I believe that I received it and it is mine. We believe that these tough times ain't gonna last forever. We believe that we can thrive in life and not settle to survive. We believe that God is going to send us and give us the desires of our heart because we pray and we believe and we delight ourselves in Him. We believe. So that is the second and foremost thing that we must do when we're going through these tough times. We must believe that, it's not going to always be like this. We have to know that storms don't last forever. I'm in Austin and it rained a couple of weeks ago. It rained, the skies was dark, it was really windy. It was horrible outside. But you know what? Eventually, the storm passed and the sun came back out again. And that's the same thing it is with our lives. Sometimes we go through these tough times. Sometimes we go through these storms. But it's always going to change. It's never going to stay that way unless, you want it to stay that way, unless you believe it's going to stay that way. God talks about belief all through the Bible. Jesus says, don't doubt, only believe. God says you must believe in Him. When you come to Him, you must have faith that He exists and that He rewards those who diligently seek Him. So it's time for us to change our mindset. It's time for us to pray more and complain less. It's time for us to stop talking to people about our tough situations more than we talk to God about our tough situations. Now, I'm not saying that God don't show us, someone or place someone in our path to talk to when we're going through tough times. But I am saying that whenever you're going through a tough time, God should be the first one that you talk to, when you're going through that tough time, and you must believe that He is going to deliver you from that tough time. It's not going to always be, I'm also not saying that you'll never waver, you'll never doubt. We are human, and we won't be complete in perfect faith and perfect trust in God, I don't think, until we get to heaven. But you have to build that faith muscle to where you make God your first priority to when you're going through hard times. When that bill is due, you don't know how it's going to get paid. As opposed to going to that man and asking him for the money, or going to that man and doing something with that man in order to get the money to pay that bill. Go to God in prayer. Go to your Heavenly Father and ask Him, God, I have this bill due. Give me wisdom. Give me clarity. Give me peace. Give me strength. Show me, Lord, how to get the resources to get this bill paid. If it's my mindset, if it's what I'm doing, and if it's my priorities, how I'm prioritizing my money, God, teach me and show me how to prioritize my money better and be a good steward on what you gave me, so that I can pay my bills on time so that I won't be in this situation. Show me, Lord, and teach me. Give me wisdom. Show me, Lord, how to get the money. Show me. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to sell your peace, because a price is going to come with it when you depend on people to be the source, when God is supposed to be your source. He will use people to give you the resources, but a person should never be your source. So number 3, when going through tough times, and I think this is so important, you have to keep positive people around you. When you're going through a tough time, the last thing you need around you is somebody who's going to make you feel bad for being in that tough time. When I'm going through my tough times, in addition to God, I have a friend in my corner who's always encouraging me and inspiring me. Now, whether she's making me laugh, whether she's helping me see things from a different point of view, giving me a different perspective, or whether she's praying with me, sending me encouraging words, encouraging videos, encouraging songs, listening to me vent. She is a very important part of my journey, and I definitely thank God for her. She's helped me financially when I, was down and out, when she could. So we all need each other. We all need each other, and it's so important for you to plug into the people who God sent your way. And some of us miss out on those people because we have the wrong people around us. We have these people who so toxic, and because they're toxic, we're toxic. We can't just blame them, because how can two walk together unless they agree? It says that in the Bible. Like, you're not gonna walk with someone and be friends with someone and continuously keep the company of someone who you don't agree with. So if you're hanging with toxic people, then sis, you probably toxic too. So let's be real about the situation, and let's take accountability for what we do too. But when you're going through your tough times, those people are so toxic. Either they're going to condemn you for being in that tough time. Well, you should have did this, or why you didn't do this, or you should have did that, or you in this situation because of something you did, as opposed to them being 100. It's nothing wrong with being honest with your friends and telling them, hey, you were wrong for that. You was wrong. You were wrong. But it's also important to encourage them and let them know, but it's going to be okay. Everybody make mistakes, but the most important thing for you to do is not to make this mistake again, so that you won't be in this situation again. So you definitely have to have positive people in your corner, especially not only in the good times, but in the bad times. I prayed to God for a good friend for years before, my friend came into my life, for years. But I wasn't out here trying to chase, clicks, trying to be a part of somebody just to have somebody in my life. For a long time, for years, about 4 years, I didn't have any friends. Like, I didn't have any friends who I could call on the phone. It was just me and God. It was just me, God, my son, and my family. For 4 years. So sometimes you do have to, be alone for a season, because in that season when I was alone, God really strengthened me. He showed me who I was, who I wasn't. And he also, showed me and taught me how to lean on him more than I lean on people. And then once he did the work inside of me, he delivered me from all the old beliefs, renewed my mind, taught me more about him. That's when he placed, a godly friend in my life, a positive friend in my life, who called me out on my stuff, pray with me, encourage me, motivate me, and we're on similar journeys. And it was all God. We're not unequally yoked. It was all God. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 says, 2 are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. That's Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. So basically, the writer of Ecclesiastes is saying that two is always better than one. You know, you need someone. And if you don't have, like, you know, someone who God has placed in your life right now, it's okay. You have God. That's two. You know, it's you and God. As opposed to you trying to do everything on your own. You have God. And it says, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. And of course, you know, God will always lift us up, you know, when we fall. But he'll also send people in your life, you know, an earthly person to help lift you up as well, while he work on the spiritual side. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. And again, if two lie together, this is basically talking about, you know, relationships. They keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? So, kind of off topic, for you single mothers who think that you'll be single forever, it's not God's will for you to be single. So, definitely when you're praying and when you're believing and when you're, you know, trying to have positive people around you, this goes for the men too. This goes for the relationships too. Sometimes we in these toxic relationships and they hold us back and they keep us toxic in our mind and in our life, and we go around in cycles and we stay in tough situations and we wonder why, but it's because the path that we are on, we are selling our soul to the devil. We are in these soul ties with these, you know, negative relationships who God did not call us to these men. And then we're continuously having babies by these men. And we're continuously in trouble with our finances. We're continuously living in poverty because we are single mothers, because we're having babies by the wrong men over and over and over and over again, because those men are not supposed to be in your life. Like, of course, kids are gifts from God, but it do come, there's consequences when you fornicate. You know, there's consequences. You will have to pay a price. That baby is a gift, but there will be a price to pay. Whether, you know, of course, you're going to have a soul tie with that man. You're not going to be able to get rid of him. You know, mentally, you're wondering why you can't let him go. And every time he calls, you go back running. You wondering why one minute you hate him, you bitter towards him, but the next minute he in your bed. You wonder why you get mad because he don't want to be with you. He got somebody else. And then the child suffers because you are bitter and mad at him, so you don't allow the child to be in his life. And you wonder why you're going through that. It's because you're paying the price of that soul tie with that man who wasn't supposed to be in your life. So, and then when you're going through tough times, it make it even worse. Like, it makes it worse when you have the wrong people in your life, the wrong man, the wrong relationship, romantic or friendly. So you definitely have to be alone. It's okay to be alone for a season. It's okay to get yourself right with God and allow God to send the right people in your life. I'm telling you, I've done some of the most amazing things when I decided to not focus on the wrong people who only wanted me to go out, who only wanted to talk to me when I was going out to the club, when I wanted to ride around and smoke and drink, when I wanted to have house parties or attend house parties. But when I got saved and tried to get my life right with God, gone, you know, disappeared. And at the time it was hurtful, but now I'm glad, because once I left that path and I started, you know, getting my spirit right with God, God opened my mind. You know, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I would not have made that decision to to be alone in that season, because I wouldn't know half of the things I know now. I wouldn't have any wisdom on life. I wouldn't have any wisdom on, you know, who God is. I wouldn't know who I am. I wouldn't know my purpose in this life. You know, I would still be confused, and I would still be traveling down a dark path and stumbling and not knowing what I'm stumbling on. So it's important to be alone for a season, you and your kids and God. And I know sometimes it'll seem like, you know, the tough times are getting tougher, but, you know, we can't see what God is doing. We can't see what he's doing. It's our job to trust him. When King David in the Bible, you know, he was running from Saul, and he was hiding in caves. He had to run most of his life, you know, from somebody who was jealous of him, trying to kill him. And David, he was praying like, you know, God, protect me. I know that you're with me. You know, save me from this man, this evil man. And the Bible would tell us how God was confusing Saul and causing Saul not to be able to find David. But David couldn't see all of that. He couldn't see all of what God was doing on the other side. All he had to do, it was just his job to believe, to pray, and to believe, and to be led as God led him, and to be obedient. And that's our job too. When we're going through these tough times, you know, it's not our job to wonder, well, God, how are you going to do it? Well, God, it seems like things are getting worse. It will seem like that sometimes, but if you keep on going, if you keep on trusting, praying, and believing in God, things are going to get better for you. Things are going to get better. One of my favorite scriptures is Proverbs 27:17. It says, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. So you definitely need you some good iron around you who gonna sharpen you, who gonna keep you on your toes. And it's good people out here. It's good people out here. You just have to allow God to be the matchmaker, and stop trying to be the matchmaker because of what your eyes can see. It goes deeper than what your eyes can see. You know, sometimes, well, I'm not even gonna say sometimes, I'm gonna say all the time, it really takes God to match you, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with God matching you. Sometimes it'll take longer, way longer, but it's okay, because when you look back, hindsight 2020, you'll be like, okay, God, I see why I was alone for so long. I see why, you know, you kept me secluded in a wilderness for so long. I see why you was doing it. When our husbands come, we gonna say, okay, God, I see why you kept me single for so long, because if I would have I say this today, God, I see why, you know, I've been single for so long, because if I would have got married a year or two ago, I probably would be divorced by now, because God is still teaching me about marriage. He's giving me inside looks on marriage, and he's teaching me things, you know, so that when I get married, I won't have the wrong expectations, which would cause for a divorce. So again, keep the right people around you. Keep positive people around you. Allow God to place the right people in your life. So tough times don't last forever, sis. Pray, believe, and keep the right people in your life, and this too shall pass. So that's all I have for you ladies today. If this video helped you in any way, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to share this with a single mother. If you would like to book a one-on-one life coaching session with me, then visit www.thesinglemotherslife.com. I love you ladies. We are about 3 days away from a new year, 2021. So I pray that these last 3 days of 2020 is prosperous for you. I pray that God open your eyes. I pray that He renews your mind and change your beliefs and help you believe that greater is out there for us. Greater is coming. I pray that you draw closer to God. I love you ladies with the love of Christ. Comment and let me know if you made it to the end, and I will talk to y'all in my next video.